Hi there, welcome to today's video. I'm Jeanette with Vivo Vintage Designs. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. On this channel, we learn alcohol ink, watercolor, and other creative art projects together. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's get started. Hello, my beautiful friends. Today we are going to paint a very simple and whimsical landscape, and we're going to be using excuse me, very bright and cheerful colors. I'm using my Academy 100% cotton watercolor paper, and you can see I've already sketched out my image. And the first thing that I'm going to do is paint the sky. So I'm going to wet down the area, and then I'm going to drop in some color. Now, if you don't want to have to draw this, you can pause the video at the end, take a screenshot of the finished painting, print it out. You can trace it or simply use it as a reference. So you can see here I've dropped a little bit of purple into the area that I've wet, and I'm letting it spread out with a little help from my brush. And I'm also using my Muño pan paints for those of you who are interested in using the same colors as I am. But of course, you can make this your own by using whatever colors you like. Now for the top of the sky, I'm using permanent violet. It's a deeper, darker purple. Because the paper is wet, those colors will blend in together very nicely. So now that the sky is painted, I'm going to start filling in these little hills that I've created with a mixture of lemon yellow and yellow orange. Once I've filled in the hill, I'm going to use a heavier concentration of the orange, and I'm going to add that to the bottom of the hill while the paper is still wet. And just like the sky, those colors will blend in together. And I'm going to make them each a little bit different so they stand out. So for this one, I started with the lemon yellow and again dropping in the orange. And you'll see that I'm skipping around. I'm not painting hills next to each other because when you paint wet next to an area that is still wet, what happens is the colors will run into one another. So now while we wait for those hills to dry, I'm going to start painting the paths. And for the paths, I'm using ultramarine blue. And then once I have it completely painted, I'm going to add a little cobalt blue to one side just to make it stand out and give it a little dimension. So here I'm adding the cobalt blue. Now let's start painting these trees. I created these trees by creating circles. I drew circles behind each other, and you can see clearly there. You should be able to see what they look like. And I started filling them in with rose madder, and then I took a little of that rose madder and I mixed a drop of black into it. So I'm going to fill in the circle, and then I'm going to pick up the darker mix and I'm going to add it to one side. And of course, just like with the hills, we're going to skip around so that we're not painting near a wet area. Once I've got the red down, I'm adding a little bit of that darker mix to the bottom. Now here for these trees, I'm using sap green. And once I have the little trees painted in, I'm going to use a little bit of hooker's green on one side to add a little bit of shadow. Now back to the hills. So I'm starting out with the lemon yellow. Also, I'm using the color yellow. which is more of an orangey yellow in my opinion, and then I'm dropping in the color orange while the paint is still wet at the base of the hill. While you watch me finish these hills, I'll remind you that all the products used are listed in the description box just below the video. And if you have any questions about anything you see me do here, please leave it in the comments. I'll always get back to you. And consider joining our Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials, where you can post your versions of the paintings and techniques learned on this channel. Now for these trees on the left, I am using the same colors that I used for the treetops. I'm using rose madder and I'm using that dark mix to add a little bit of shadow as well. And while I wait for that little tree to dry, let's paint some more circles on these treetops. Now for the roof of the house, I'm using a combination of indigo and black. I did dilute it because these colors are very strong. So I used a lot of water and I outlined it, and then I'm just using a clean damp brush to bring that color to the center of the roof. Now I tell you this all the time. These paintings are really easy. You don't have to be able to draw well or even paint well. None of the lines have to be straight. There is no perfection here. Now for the side of the house, I used a lot of water and I diluted the color that I used for the roof with a lot of water and just created a little shadow on the side of the house. And for the door and windows, I'm using the same mix that I used for the roof. Now I'm using a tiny brush here with a really nice fine point. These are my silver black velvet brushes to create the branches of these fun little trees. And these are really simple to draw. You can see it's just a very thin line and then a bunch of little branches to connect to those circles at the top. You can even use a micron pen if you're not comfortable using a paintbrush. Use a micron pen, maybe a size 0.8 nib, and you can get the same effect. Now that that first red tree is dry, I can add color to the second one. Now I did add a couple of trees here in the foreground, so I'm going to use the same technique as I did for the others. I'm going to paint it and then I'm going to add a darker mix on the side for some shadow. Now you may be wondering, what are these little white areas here? Well, these are clouds. These are whimsical clouds. So I am going to wet down the area first, and then I'm going to give it just a couple of seconds to dry. And now I've picked up on the tip of my brush the same colors that I used for the paths. And I'm just creating these little lines to make it look like a puffy little cloud. And then I'm going to do the same on the other one. I'm adding water. I'm going to give it a couple of seconds to soak in. Then I'm going back to the first one and adding a little bit more of that blue to create, to define those puffy lines a little bit. And you can see I'm just tapping in the color. Now that that first tree is dry, I can paint the second one, and you can see that I'm painting it in a lighter shade. I've added some water to that mix, and just to make them look a little bit different. And then I'll add the shadow color on the edge. Now that my hills are dry, I can finish off the last path, again using ultramarine blue and then using the cobalt blue to add a little detail and shadow. Now for the shadows of the trees and the house, you can use a diluted indigo or any color you like actually. I decided to use the color Scarlet for my shadows. And I'm keeping very sharp lines. I'm not trying to blur them out. And this is just a fun little detail to add to the painting that gives it a little bit more dimension and interest. And if you're not comfortable doing this, of course you don't have to, but you can see just how easy it is. Even for the trees, you don't have to get every single little branch. On this one, I did add a few of the branches in the shadow, but I'm not trying to get it perfect. And now I painted in the trunk and the branches of that tree, which I'd forgotten. And now that the side of the house is dry, I've used the same mix that I used for the roof to paint in a few windows. And now I'm going to outline all the elements except for the shadows using a 0.5 micron pen in black. This just makes everything stand out a little bit more. Now, when you're using a micron pen on cold press paper like I'm using, you'll find that the marker can skip a little bit. That's why I used a larger nib. Now, looking at this painting, once I had finished outlining everything, I thought it needed a little bit more. So I decided to add these little round shrubs on this hill. I'm just using the tip of my smaller paintbrush. I think this is a size 4. And making these little circles, and then I went back and I picked up that scarlet color again and created shadows for them as well. And this little area looked like it needed something, so I decided to add a fence. I'm using a micron pen. I think this one is a 0.8. And I wasn't sure how to end the fence here, so I just added a little slat that was hanging down. And of course, we have to add our shadow. And then once those little shrubs were dry, I used the micron pen to outline them as well. Now keep in mind that if you decide to give this painting a try, you don't have to paint it exactly like mine. Feel free to add whatever elements make it your own. You can add more trees, anything you like. And now you can pause the video here, take a screenshot of the finished picture. You can print it out and use it to trace or as a reference for your own version of this painting. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.